Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Josh. I sell used books, CDs, and DVDs online on platforms like eBay and Amazon. That is what I do full time to support my family. Today, what we're doing is we're taking a look at BetterListerAI. This is one of those new AI listing softwares out there. This is the one that Tech and Sports has put out, um, and I've used it a little bit. I have not used it very much. It looks like we have done 28 listings so far. We're going to do 10 more here today. I just wanted to show it to you guys a little bit, give you an idea of somebody that doesn't have a dog in the race about the listing software. Might do this with some other ones as well. If you're interested in me checking out any others, let me know down in the comment section. But we are going to be taking a look at this today. I think I got 10 listings that I wanted to throw up and try out. Now, all of the AI listers right now they're not finished. They're not complete. They are still learning. There's still lots of features, but they are kind of at that minimally viable product for a lot of people, and they may be useful. This particular one, it basically has a price of around 50 cents per listing. Well, really 50 cents per listing. However, there's a monthly price of $49.99, which gives you 100 listings. So basically there's like a minimum monthly spend of $50, but it's 50 cents per listing. And there's tokens, all the AI software, no matter what it is, whether it's listing or something else, is always complicated, I feel like, with tokens or different things. But anyways, I'm going to be showing you guys how this works. I am in Tech and Sports group, although I didn't join the group for him, and I don't watch very many of his calls at all. I joined the group more for Jack's call and the media call and different things like that. But I do enjoy Tech, and I like listening to him. It's just like after you listen to about 10 or 15 hours of Tech, he says the same thing over and over because he doesn't have a lot to say. It's pretty simple. Like, just list good stuff. Don't buy junk. List good stuff, and it will sell. There, that's everything he has to say pretty much. I mean, there's more to it than that, but obviously, like, that's the biggest part of his message. Buy good stuff, list good stuff, be consistent. But we're not here to talk about Tech or the group today. We are here to talk about this Better Lister. So I'm going to get into it. I do have the screen recording right now, so I'm probably going to switch over the view to that. But honestly, pretty simple interface whenever you get here to the front. We can buy tokens, create listings, view listings, upload photos. Usually all I'm doing is I'm going to come over here to the top here first and hit upload, and we are going to upload our photos. Notice you can click this include orientation metadata, and if photos are rotated incorrectly, it is going to fix them. So we're going to go ahead and click that. And I know for some people that's a game changer. I know like 4 or 5 years ago, there was a lot of people having some serious issues with that. And I believe we are going right here. Yep, this is the right folder. And here are all of my pictures I took earlier today. My flow for doing this right now, my process is basically I'm keeping it the same as I did previously when I was doing a VA. So what I was doing with the VA was I would take my pictures, and then my last picture would be kind of this information card with some information on it. I'm still filling that information out, but not as fully as I used to whenever I am doing that. Oh, I got to hit start upload. I feel like that should start automatically. I shouldn't have to click that button. But anyways, photos are uploading now. So that's the way my flow works. I'm then taking the photos, putting them in Dropbox, downloading them to my computer, and then going from there. You can upload these to an app, but I'm so far doing the process just like I would with my VA, just because that's what I'm used to. I'm not trying to change my process a lot right now because I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to stick with this or not. All right, so files are all uploaded, and now we have basically all our pictures in here. So what we have to do now, I've got 10 listings worth of stuff here, is I need to put in a skew, which I'm not going to be too worried about this because we're going to fix this later, the skew. The way I did things today was I was trying to take a different grouping of things. Like we have a DVD here, we've got some different types of books, and they all go into different skew systems for me. So because of that, I'm just going to start with a random one here for the skew, and we will fix the skews later in the process. So I'm going to click on assign skew for these first 3 that we've selected. This first DVD. I'm not going to include the information card in it. I I read earlier today you can actually include an information card here, and it will pull in some information. You know what? Let's try that on one of these. We'll try that on Gems of Wisdom. But I had not tried that yet. So I did not want to try that first things first with you guys. Let's do it on this one as well, the cookbook. So we tried it on 2 of them where we are going to include that information card. We will have to delete that later, which is the part I don't like, because I don't want that information card in my actual eBay listing. I more take that so that I can use that when I'm actually building the listing. All right. So we got 10 that we did. Let's go to close out all of this. Now we're going to go over here to generate listings. So we've got our 10 right here. Let's see if I can remember how to do this. We're going to select them all. I'm going to click on generate listing data. Notice these just have different SKUs with them now. Notice 10 is right next to 1 because I should have put a 0 in front of that if that was the actual SKU I'm using. But these are not the actual SKUs that I'm using. 10, we'll use 10 tokens, which each token is like 50 cents. And this is where I always think things get confusing with the AI stuff, because you're buying tokens, spending tokens, but tokens are money. I don't remember. I don't know. Now it is going to process. This is usually typically pretty fast. I don't know if it's going to be a little bit slower now because this is in the morning and maybe other people are doing this. But we're going to hang out and talk for just a minute and see how quickly this will do it. Usually I walk away at this point, but I haven't done this too much. You know what? Let's walk away, because honestly, you're not typically going to be sitting here while this is happening. I'll be right back. Okay, it's been about 60 seconds. I went over, checked my email, came back, and we've got 3 of them done. So we are going to actually just go ahead and start working on those now. So here is the first one that we need to do, and I need to remember how to do this. Oh, let's go over to ready to publish at the top. That's what it was. So go over to ready to publish at the top, and we are going to actually look at these out. So here's the very first one I had. They put an estimated price of $18.99. The price that I had written down that I want to list this at is $30. It is in the right category, which is DVDs. There are 13 item specifics here. The condition is brand new, which is what it was. Let's look at this title now. The Gospel Bill Show Volume 2 DVD Collector's Edition, Western Kids Christian New. You know what? And I really like that. I'm going to click on Edit here and look at the full listing, just to give you guys an idea. This isn't something I want to do on all of them in the future. But yeah. So in the description, it's got the title, condition, brand new, sealed in original plastic wrap. Exciting Western adventure series for children created by Willie George Ministries. Includes 4 episodes. That is correct. That information came from the back of the DVD. Features these characters. This looks absolutely great. It's got the ISBN, the year, made in the USA. Like, I'm happy with that. This is better than what my VA would be doing, personally. I feel like this listing. It is in the right category. But yeah, I am completely happy with that. So I'm going to hit Save Changes. I do need to update the Skew. This is where I keep a second window open over here on my right with that little information card that I have. And if you're doing a whole lot where the SKUs are going to be in order, you can just put the first one and then it will update. Like the next one would be B9005. But you know what? Where did it go? Oh, it went down here to the bottom. Interesting. Oh, wait, this is one from the other day. So yeah, that looks good. So let's fix these other ones. All right, let's go right here next. This next one should have been an easy one for this to do, because this was something with a barcode. Honestly, I feel like barcode stuff, it's easier probably just to list from the eBay app. But I wanted to try it out. Tyranny of Dragons, D&D. So let's look at D&D, Tyranny of Dragons hardcover adventure book, Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. Tiamat. Did not get that full word in there, which is probably fine because it's not an important word. Condition, gently worn, no visible flaws. Corners show minimal wear, no writing or missing pages noted. Interior pages crisp and clean, which I would very much agree with this. This thing was in very nice condition. Now they put like new. I don't like listing things as like new. We're going to downgrade it to very good. In the past, I have listed everything as good condition, but I think with this AI like doing the item condition grading for me, I'm going to go ahead and start putting some things in as very good. The reason I was not putting very good in the past is because I didn't want to take the time to grade it. But since it's going to do the condition grading for me, that's fine. It is in the right category, books and magazines. There are item specifics over here that have been filled out, including your recommended, your additional ones. So yeah, not all these were filled out, but a bunch were. The required were all filled out. For book title, they just put A, which is interesting. I don't think that's an issue necessarily, but it would be nice if they would put Tyranny of Dragons. But I imagine that is not going to be in this drop down right here, because in the book category, you're not going to see everything in that drop down, and that's why that's like that. They put a price of $46.99. I was wanting to price this at $20. And the Skew for this one is A3-0025. So we're going to save our changes. Hit cancel. One thing up here. Calculated shipping is currently not working. Flat price shipping only. That is something kind of annoying to me, but totally fine. All right, so the rest of these, I am not going to go into the, you know what, let's just do it. Let's go into each of them. I normally do not go in here and look at everything, but since we are learning about this, man, this looks good, I feel like. Material, standard hardcover book. Great resource for Sunday school teachers, Bible study leaders, or collectors of vintage religious books. Like, I totally agree with that. I find it odd that, like, sometimes, like, here on condition we have colons, but, like, other places, lesson, I guess there's a colon there. Here, I feel like it should just be editorial staff colon if it's going to be, like, consistent with its formatting. It's just kind of jumping all over with the formatting. This is a sentence here, and there's no period at the end, but, like, I feel like that's fine. We got some weird authors going on here. BGND, aha. The book title is 7. Language is English. Recommended item specifics is fine. We do have religious and spiritual here. Antiquarian and collectible. I don't think that really applies, but I am glad we have the religious and spiritual on the genre. Topic, Bible. HR, religious instruction. Interesting. They don't have theology on here, which definitely should add that. There are some others we should add as well. Did that actually add? Yeah, it did. That was kind of weird that it didn't disappear. Type, activity book. This is not an activity book. It's none of those. Publisher, Pathway Press. Is that accurate? Let's take a look. Yep, it is Pathway. See, that's something I would have personally on my own have gone in. I know my VA would have gone in and did that. Now, I did have some highlighting, significant highlighting throughout. I would probably agree with that, because look at here. We have some highlighting there. So I'm glad they notated that. The price I wanted to price this at was $15. They had it at $17.99. It's totally fine. We're going to update our Skew B7-0077. Save changes, and then we hit cancel to get back. Why does it say? Okay, there we go. All right, Gems of Wisdom is our next one up. Now that is the one where I added the extra information card. So we're going to go in and delete that real quick. And I'm interested to see if they pulled in my price or not. They did not. It did not correctly pull in my price, which is like the only thing on my information card besides my skew. Oops. Hope if I type in my skew correctly. Gems of Wisdom, Win R. Shaw, Devotional Proverbs, hardcover Christian book. And that's not even a word there. So I can rotate on there. That's nice. Interesting. Oh, maybe that is a word. Maybe that is the name of the publisher. So it is good to have that in there. Handwritten name Diane on the front end paper. So, yep. And that is very interesting. Like, this is cursive right here. And the AI was able to read that and put this in here. Yeah. Weight approximately 4 pounds. It got that from my info card. Here's my info card, bringing it over here for this one. Price 35, location B70076, good, and then 4LB. So that is interesting that it got that. It did not get the price I wanted from my information card, but maybe that information card, it did put the condition as very good. And I think it would have put this as very good if I did not have good on that information card. Author G, that came from the information card. Book title F. And once again, I think it's struggling because I doubt the author is somebody that is going to show up here. Let's just look. Gwen Shaw shows up there. So I find it interesting it failed on that when up here in the description, but I guess maybe because it was Gwen R. Shaw that it had in the description, and then the author in the drop down is just Gwen Shaw. Maybe that's why it was struggling with that. I don't know, but I find that interesting. So it feels like on the item specifics for author and title, it's not doing a good job right now. But it's getting the publisher, which is nice because that's not something I would normally get. I don't think it's something people search for a lot, but it's fine. Religious and motivation, spiritual, motivation, spiritual. I'm going to have Proverbs in here. I know that is a custom one, but I'm going to add that in because I feel like that is nice. It did have it over here on topics though, so that's fine, I guess. Once again, it's got this as an activity book. I would not call this an activity book at all. See, I wonder did it had it that this it said no for inscribed. This is technically inscribed in my opinion since it has that name written in it. I don't know. Normally I'm not this worried about the item specifics, so I'm just kind of really interested to see what this thing is doing right now and to see how it's doing. All right, next one up. Next one, I did this book because it had nothing on Terapeak, and I was interested to see what it would do. But it pulled information. Be What You're Supposed to Be by Nelson Pendergrass, memoir, foster care, adoption. Probably trying to write the word book there. So it seems like the last word of your title you really need to take a look at and see what's going on there. I have no idea where it got this price from. I'm going to price mine at 20. Also, you know what? I need to get this where it's not jumping up on your guys' screen every time. I'm going to move this over on the other screen where it's supposed to be. Let's update my skew. It's got the ISBN copyright. Interesting. It is in the book category. They put it as very new. The author is D. The book title is B. Like I said, it's struggling with those today. You know what? I think that looks good. Let's try a few more. If you're bored, you can skip to head, but I'm going to do all these right now because I feel like this is important for us to see how this thing is actually doing. This book was another book that I did that was not on Terapeak. I'm not sure where it got this price from, perhaps Amazon or something like that. Although I don't think this one was on Amazon either, if I remember correctly. So I'm going to price it at 20. My SKU is B70074. Softcover edition with tree design cover art. I don't think that's helpful, but it doesn't hurt to have it there. I do think having this publisher here is sometimes helpful. ISBN not visible. Interesting. They put the condition as like new. I do not like having like new condition. I wish I could personally train it like that. But my understanding is this AI is not learning what you on your personal account want to do. They're doing all the training on the back end. It would be really nice if we could have a way of this AI adapting to me and my specific account. And I'm sure that would be totally different and a lot harder for them to do on the back end. But if it could learn what I want to do for my listings, that would be so much more useful and a lot more like what an AI would do. All right, next up. Oh, this one's terrible. Not terrible, but not as good as I like. But these are something I kind of specialize in a little bit more. Vintage Turn of the Century Muldrow, Oklahoma Cookbook, Genealogical Society, 1981. Now this is one of these vintage local cookbooks that I use a lot. And here's some things about them. The title of the cookbook does not matter. That word turn of the century does not matter. The town matters a bunch. The word cookbook matters a bunch. Genealogical Society. That does not matter at all that it was put out by the Genealogical Society. If it was put out by a church, maybe. I always change the year to the decade. And then I use some other keywords like comb, because this is comb bound. I will do things like local, regional recipes, stuff like that. We are going to put the county. Oops, I did not mean to click on that. So let's put the county. Sequoia. And then I'm going to put the abbreviation of Oklahoma as OK. I think that will work. That'll bring in more people. Sequoia is also a town here in Oklahoma. So I think that could potentially bring in some searches, even though it's just the county name. Muldrow, Oklahoma is going to bring in a bunch of searches. And honestly, on those terms, that is probably what's going to sell this local cookbook. Unless it's somebody looking for a local regional cookbook. We got all those in there now. They call this spiral bound. What do you guys call it? I always call this a comb binding. A spiral to me is one that actually has this spiral. I call these comb bound. Index pages list hundreds of recipes for appetizers, blah, blah, blah. Historic community recipes. I love seeing that in the description. Yeah, I like that. Great vintage edition for collectors of Oklahoma or local genealogy and history cookbooks. Item condition acceptable. I'm upping that to good. Just because this is a cookbook. Now, what category did they stick this in? Antiquarian books? That's fine. This really needs to be in books and magazines, though. So we're going to put it over there. Book title. I'm just going to put in cookbook. There we go. I have heard on the information sheet, if you want it in a specific category and you write in books and magazines, and then these arrows, and then books, it will put it into that category. I have not tried that yet, but I do need to now delete my picture here. It did not put that it was vintage, even though it had vintage in the title. Well, I guess because these item specifics, I changed them. That's why these are not filled out. So there we go. Pricing. I price these at $20 typically. I do appreciate the idea of having them that high. Now I find it interesting that my little photograph is still kind of there, even though I clicked on delete. Don't know what's going on with that. We'll see if it's actually in the listing later today, but and normally fixing the skew will not be an issue. I won't normally have to do this. Normally, I'll put in the very first one that I upload, like B70025. Then everything else will be in order, and then it will do it for us. But since I was picking some random stuff to do today for you guys, we got skews that are all over the place. All right. You know, let's try this. We got 3 left. It looks like vintage Jean-Paul Gaultier these are French words I cannot list. 1998 Universe. Get rid of the word universe. The price for this I was putting at $20. I do think you could price this higher, and looking at the price comps, I see why it was a little bit higher, but there is some competition for this, but not really selling much. And so I wanted to underprice some other people quite a bit. It's calling this a coffee table book. That's fine. Condition, I agree, is very good. Author C, book title A. Why is it doing that? I don't know. Sure, this is vintage, hardcover. I would really like to see, anytime it says vintage, to go in and do VTG just to save us some characters. Like, might as well. All right, if I hit save changes, I feel like that should take us back here, but I'm having to click on it twice today. Ooh, next one. This is what I want to see. Money Making Secrets, J. Abrams, Mr. X Marketing Book, Business Guide, softcover. They priced this at $20. This is worth quite a bit more, and the comps are obvious on that. We're going to put it at 80. A3-0027. This was one thing. It had no ISBN, but it was at a place where, like, the store, you just buy books for a dime. So I just threw it in and was pleasantly surprised. Some of this self-published finance get-rich stuff does good like that. J. Abraham. Was that the right name? Yeah, J. Abraham. Okay. It's got the Mr. X in there. I like that. Author X, book title, once again, A. This one is definitely actually vintage, but they don't have that in here. And I feel like that's more important than soft cover, so we're going to add that in. Also, I feel like vintage should always go at the end, not the beginning, but that's, once again, a personal preference that I would like the AI to do. All right, I'm going to click on Save Changes. Notice it just loaded. Okay, now it took us here. So there's kind of a lag there for some reason. All right, one more. This was a textbook, which I thought should be straightforward. It calls this a library copy. It's not a library copy by any means. Like, why is it thinking that? Maybe because of these stickers here. Actually, and this is actually a little bit of a repair job that somebody had made at some point. Let me try and show you. So they took a like 4x6 shipping label and put it around here because I'm sure that that thing was coming undone. And then there's just stickers because this was been at Amazon previously. I was not allowed to sell this on Amazon. So we are going to delete that. I find that interesting. I do like that it said no digital access code. Now, it has the item condition as good. That's fine. What category? It did put this in textbooks, which is where I want it. It's got the authors right. It's got the publication name right, which I would expect that because it's hopefully just pulling from the eBay catalog when it's building this listing. Now, let me make sure I got the right information card pulled up. I did not. This price, I want it at 70. I don't know why they had it so low. Let's put in my Skew. Save changes. I think that looks good. I don't know. Normally, I'm not going to spend this long on these listings. I'm just going to double check the titles, probably glance at the description, and not even look at the item specifics. But since all of you guys are here today, we're doing that. I have no idea. So this listing failed apparently the other day, and I missed that. I need to add author to the listing. So we'll do that. later. That was one I did the other day. Anyways, we're going to publish these 10 that we just did. Notice, once again, it's going to come here and tell me I use 0 tokens. The reason for that is I'm not doing any background removal options. You can use those, and I think they're a different token than your listing tokens. So that's kind of confusing, personally. And you did have to accept the legal terms. Basically, you're not going to sue them if your eBay account gets shut down. And apparently we have to do that every 180 days. Okay, listing sent to eBay for publishing. So it's processing these. We're going to see what happens. Real quick, I'm going to go try and fix this one. It's because we have no author here. There was an author. It was Ivan. Let's just add a custom value. I think that's going to be the easiest way. Publication name. Let's add a custom value. And then type. Let's add that. So maybe for this category, it just hasn't figured out how to do that yet. Once again, I click Save Changes. There's quite a bit of delay before it takes me to the next page. All right, and it looks like the DVD failed as well, but everything else was published. Let's try these other two. Okay, so they are processing now. Let's see if they go through. Oh, also notice up here, I forgot to talk about this. This is where you're going to select your policies that you're using. You really need to be using, you have to be using business policies to do that. My payment policy, I only have one. My return policy has been free returns for a very long time. Fulfillment policy, flat rate shipping is the only thing that's working right now. So I'm just putting everything at $7.99 flat rate shipping. I think that's fine for media unless you're doing bulk lots, but that is fine. And then postal code needs to be in there. You will have to update your shipping policies and make a flat rate policy if you don't currently have one, and then click on refresh policies and it will pull in your new policies. Okay. This one keeps failing. Failed to publish, API request failed with status 400. So I don't know what's going on with that. Like I've mentioned, these things are all kind of in like almost a beta type format. And so there's no telling what's going on with them. This was the only DVD that we had. Let me just make some sort of like small change to this and see if it will then go through. I don't know why that would work. And I need to fix these. It's interesting. I got 2 locations on here. Let's just click that one. Publish selected. Try it one more time. If this doesn't work, maybe we'll try back in a few hours or something like that. But I don't know. But anyways, this has been the BetterListerAI. Man, it failed again. Some downfalls. If you are trying to edit this stuff in eBay, it's not going to be straightforward. You're not going to be able to edit things since these were listed with a third-party listing software. That's something that's nice about listing with the VA is they are listing straight from eBay. So you can edit those listings just like normal. These listings you cannot edit like normal. Probably one of the easier things to do is to do a sell similar and then do whatever edits you need to do if you need to edit something that's in eBay. I don't know why it's like that. Let me go to one of our actives and show you that. Okay, these are not showing up in actives yet, are they? I am not yet seeing them in actives. Let me try sorting them a little bit different. See if I can get them to show up. Maybe. Nope, they're not going to show up. Anyways, you can't edit them right away. The reason they're not showing up right now is sometimes it takes a while to get it over there because it's going through the API. Let's try and publish this one more time. So editing them is much more of a pain than it should be. That is something they're working on the back end of, but it's something to be aware of. And I think that's probably going to be a problem with all the AI listing softwares right now. Let me know what you guys thought about this. I think this can be very useful, especially if you've been using a VA in the past. The process for this is going to be very similar to using a VA, where you are uploading your photos, you are then kind of reviewing those items, and it's going to be cheaper. I think the pricing of it is still higher than it needs to be at 50 cents per listing. However, I understand the thought process on that. It's still about half of typically what a VA would charge. Typically with a VA, you're paying around $1 per listing. So paying around 50 cents per listing is nice. Still having to upload photos, still having to look things over, make sure they are good. There are still some kinks, obviously, to work out with this, but I see how this could be very useful. I think the quality of listings you're getting from it is fairly decent. There's definitely room for improvement, especially with things like title and author on books right now. Like, as we saw, that was not working very great. I know there's some people that think it uses the word vintage too much. I'm totally fine with that. I really don't care that it uses vintage all the time. I don't think vintage needs to be the first word in the title. If there was some way that AI could adapt to us and what we were doing, I think that would be absolutely huge, absolutely amazing. But it's my understanding right now that that's not the way it works. And it's not adapting to my specific account for things that I need to do. But anyways, let me know what you guys think. This has already been 30 minutes. I listed 10 items in 30 minutes, which is 3 minutes per item, but I did a whole lot of showing you guys stuff. Typically, you know what? This needs to be less than 1 minute per item. And I think it would if it wasn't for me like spending so much time talking to you guys and trying to fix this last one. API request failed with status 400. I'll have to send an email to support or something like that and see what's going on. Failed to publish author. Who knows? But anyway, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.